I did wait on that.
All right, y'all. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you're tuning in. I'm grateful to have you here. And we got my man Dinesh D'Souza back in the building, probably letting these college students know once again how the world really operates. Should be a fun one. Let's get it popping.
Greatest allies, we live in a time where you can check on your phone. So pull out your phone. Pardon me?
I have checked on my phone. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I won't be allowed to ask you this.
It's okay. Let her go. Okay, tell me.
Kevin M. Cross has, in fact, shown you all the statistics that you claim are untrue. What you say about the Southern Democrats is not unknown. I am, in fact, an immigrant like you. I come from the same country that you come from. And I am not here to debate Democrat versus Republican. I am simply disappointed because you are producing facts that are simply not true.
Name one.
And you are not a historian. For example, the party realignment. You should just go check your own Twitter page. This has been...
Believe me, I have.
Yes, so have I. So have I. Yeah. And I can see that you've been
Okay, let's pause. We need to situate what you're talking, because you're making references here that need to be brought out. There is a historian at Princeton named Kevin Cruz. And Cruz and I have been having a kind of a Twitter fight, if you will, about Dixiecrats. Now, Cruz plays a very sly game. He counts as Dixiecrats people who are not Dixiecrats. And so if I say to him, only 2 racist Dixiecrats became Republicans, he goes, what about John Tower? What about Jesse Helms? What about Trent Lott? And my response is, don't be an idiot. We're talking about Dixiecrats. None of those were...
History. He cannot be an idiot.
Hold on.
This is literally his research.
It's not his research. He has written one book on white flight in Atlanta. Hold on. Hold on.
You've asked him to debate him. You've asked him to debate him, but I can inform you, Mr. D'Souza, that this is not how academics works. You can write a paper, he writes a paper. I can speak. I thought the idea is free speech.
You could have waited on that.
I did wait on that.
She getting upset.
Hold on. I think what he's trying to say is that somewhat like the illegal, you want to jump the line. Hold on. Hold on. Don't shout. Well, don't heckle me. 1 second. First of all, I was the person who said let her speak. No, I didn't cut her off. Okay. All right. Hold on. I'm going to do one more thing. And that is there anybody who's in the audience that wants to ask me a question about the posters on the campus? Because if they do, I'm happy to directly address. I obviously can't address. There was a kind of a blizzard of things out there. Some of them actually not even said by me. But nevertheless, if anyone wants to take a shot, I think it's kind of a nice way to close the evening. If one person wants to ask a question related to, oh, this guy, okay, he's ready, and we'll pick him as a representative of the resistance. Okay, go for it. Go for it.
About you worked with the Reagan administration, obviously, for a while. I want to read you a quote from your former boss. It says, talking about immigrants in speech, they brought with them courage, ambition, and the values of family, neighborhood, work, peace, and freedom. And then he goes on to talk about how immigrants are making this country great, and then he says make America great again. I'm wondering what your own former boss would say about you now.
So the question is, quoting Reagan, my hero, and a lot of the reason I became a conservative, about how immigrants are entrepreneurial, hardworking, pro-family, and the question, and I just want to excavate the buried assumption of the question: how disappointed your former boss would be in you now. Now, I would submit that nobody would ask a question like that who actually was listening to what I said tonight. I actually believe that immigrants are hardworking, industrious, entrepreneurial. I said I would like to see the number of legal immigrants in this country increased. I would like to see our immigration policy modified to take far more of those kinds of immigrants. My position on immigration is thoroughly and completely Reaganite. Now, what gets me is when I hear things that revolt against what I know and also against common sense. And so there are things that people will sometimes say, like, immigrants created this country and built this country. True, but only partially true, because that distinction confuses actually two groups that are not the same: immigrants and settlers. Settlers. Colonizers, if you will. Colonizers. Okay, let's call them colonizers.
They're about to get
colonizers.
upset. You could tell.
Here's the important thing. Colonizers create... Why are you shouting? Don't... Hold on. It's not. We can have a whole debate on that. But let me address your point. Colonizers create the country that immigrants want to come to. Think of that paradox right there. In other words, if the colonizers were such horrible guys and have done such a botched up job of creating this country, why on earth today do immigrants from all over the world still want to come here? Why do we even have to talk about a wall in the knowledge that if we didn't have a wall, half the world would come here?
You'd be going nuts.
What was it about those colonizers, despite their colonization, that was so powerful that 150 years later, the country that they made is still the magnet for the world? So immigrants like me will jump over fences, stand in lines, pay a lot of money, abandon our families, to come to the country the colonizers
But it's so bad and
made.
racist here. Just saying.
Now,
everybody want to come party in America, though. Come on now. Home of the free because the brave.
All right, let's make this the last question in fairness, and I will have extended the time. Go for it. The mic is yours.
Big jug.
Wonderful country for people. Why is it that the very descendants of the people that lived here before colonizers came in are the ones that are almost the most marginalized in this country and systematically suffering because of that?
Oh, the headline
Yes.
speech.
I'll
Not
try to answer
factual.
that as best I can. The condition of the American Indians, historically, we have to look at it twofold: historically and today. Historically, it was the Indian Wars, the broken treaties by the white man, the Wounded Knee, the battles, the massacres. It was also a plethora of diseases that spread through the Indian population brought by the white man, and that decimated the American Indian population.
It was also, intentionally introduced, right?
No, that's not true. There's a debate about Jeffrey Amherst, and there's a controversial episode there. But look, diseases, there's a book I recommend to you by the historian William McNeill. It's called Plagues and Peoples. It talks about how massive populations have been decimated historically by diseases brought by outsiders. For example, the Black Plague in Europe killed 1/3 of the entire continent, brought from Asia, unintentionally. Now, I'm not going to say that's genocide, because genocide implies a deliberate intention to exterminate an entire population. That's why the use of the term genocide is very irresponsible on your part in
Not
this
on
case. You don't think so?
Genocide
You
would be
think
on
that
purpose.
you
but
think, and I'm going to ask you now for your evidence, that there was a conscious intention to wipe out the Indians as a people. Chapter and verse. Let's hear it.
So, what do you say about the very thing that this institution was
didn't answer the
founded
question.
on about essentially
surprise.
whitewashing the Native Americans? And then that was, of course, abandoned. But all of these things. But what do you say about the foundational thing for Indian schools that were created, and then there were things about headhunting Indians and prizes for that money? Like, it was
I just have to acknowledge the fact my man looks a little dreary-eyed. Like he didn't get enough sleep last night. He was cramming, or he was, smoking some high. One of the three, y'all pick. But I like how he didn't answer the question. And college kids have yet to understand that being emotional and going in with all this attachment without logic, without just facts, and they're so attached to it, emotional, that that's not going to win a debate. That's never going to win a debate. You got to come with logic, with common sense, with reasoning, not just all this heartfelt stuff. That's never going to win a debate.
nuclear incentivization by both the U.S. government and just by people to be able to take over the property, well, you know, the land, the things that people had here before the colonizers came.
So Eliezer Wheelock leaves Yale and comes up here into the woods of New Hampshire to set up a college to Christianize and educate the native Indians. Are you saying that he wanted to exterminate them?
I think that that's a questionable, it's based in something else. So it has to do with, you know, understanding culture and whether or not you can actually, you know, help someone by Christianizing them.
Right, but pause for a moment because
Christianity is
see,
horrible,
part
right?
Part of education is making distinctions, right? Let's say I believe as a Christian that your life would be infinitely better than it is if you became a Christian. And in that sincere belief, I read the Bible to you and I start proselytizing you. I'm not Adolf Hitler. You may not go for it. You may think that I'm conning you.
Now, normally I like to pause and evaluate and break down what we just went over during the video, but Dinesh usually dishes out some gems and very wise information that if you're not listening, if your mouth is open, you can't take in new pieces of information. You can't grow and learn. So that's why this one, I kind of wanted to just pause, see what's going on. It wasn't as extreme of a snap whatsoever. I wouldn't even consider anybody really snapping like the title said. But at the beginning, she did say she's a legal immigrant. For someone who came here, I'm assuming legally, went through the screening process, all of that, she doesn't seem very happy. That's not the norm. Most people that come here, this is leaps and bounds of improvement here in America based on compared to wherever they came from. But she doesn't seem very happy or like she's adding any value to this country whatsoever. So if you're not happy, go ahead, leave. You might as well rotate and stop being in this country bashing, belittling, because you're the exception. You're the minority in this situation. Most people that come here love it here and they wouldn't go anywhere else. That's why we talk about building a wall. That's why we build walls and have a screening process. And you go through all these legal precautions to get here, is because the value of this country outweighs every other country in the world as far as like what we bring to the table, the opportunities, land of the free because of the brave. You're not free everywhere else. You're not free to speak on your religion. You're not free to speak on your politics, nothing like that, without being thrown in jail, killed, anything like that. And I know people are going to go crazy in my comment section. I encourage the conversation below. I think it's a shame that these kids are so adamant about their beliefs, but yet they haven't been through much in life. They haven't really grown and seen how the world really operates, and they close their mind to people who've actually gone through some trials, some tribulations, who have wisdom and who have seen the world and all the things that unfold in the world, history, current times, whatever it may be. These kids need to open their minds and stop staying in this little closed echo chamber box, never willing to grow. And that's why if you've been a supporter of my channel for a while, you already know what time it is when I whip out this Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. And if you're new to the channel, first off, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Subscribe, consider it, whether you're a Christian, atheist, whatever it may be. I like to share the good news on this platform because I didn't grow up in the good book. I didn't grow up saved. So if I can be forgiven, if my testimony is based in this, and this changed my life, my wife, Jesus Christ, everything in Christianity changed my life for the best, I know it can for you as well if you're willing to let it. So, hey, pull up a seat. The verse I'm going to read today is a longer verse than I usually share, but I know it to be crucial, especially in today's times where people aren't full of love, full of peace, and full of spreading the gospel and truth. They're all about bashing, belittling, victim mindset, and that's not what God created us for whatsoever. So if you got a Bible, I'm reading the English Standard Version. You can read whatever version you want. Open it up to Romans 8, verse 31 through 39. God's everlasting love is the title of this passage. What then shall we say to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? He who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, how will he not also with him graciously give us all things? Who shall bring any charge against God's elect? It is God who justifies. Who is to condemn? Christ Jesus is the one who died. More than that, who was raised, who is at the right hand of God, who indeed is interceding for us. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or danger or sword? As it is written, for your sake we are being killed all the day long. We are regarded as sheep to be slaughtered. No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For I am sure that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor rulers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor powers, nor height, nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God in Christ Jesus our Lord. Whew. marinate on that for a second. Go ahead and read that back time and time again. If God is for us, who can be against us? If Jesus took on the cross for all of our wickedness, whether you're talking about colonization, however you view the world, Jesus took on the cross for all the evil in the world. God's always going to work it together for the greater good. And us as humans, we can only fathom things and perceive things in a two-dimensional form. God knows why all things happen. He allows whatever happens in this world, he allows it to happen, and he knows the outcome of it. He sees things in real three-dimensional perspective. So whatever you may think is happening for whatever reason is usually a selfish tendency and not out for the greater good, as a lot of people claim to be. So all of this colonization, all of this stuff with immigrants and everything in between, it all is happening for a reason, and it all gets worked together to serve his kingdom, for the good, for peace, for love, for everlasting eternity. That is to, y'all know what I'm trying to say. I'll go on a rant and take this thing all day long, and my English starts to get twisted. So that's when I know it's time for me to open up the comment section. Y'all let me know what you think down below, whether you're an immigrant, whether you live in a different country. How do you view America? Do you view it as a slave ship that, traps people in? Or do you view it as a true land of opportunity where if you want to go get it and you're willing to put in that time and the extra effort and the sacrifices to make it happen, you can be successful. You can be full of love and very fruitful for your family, for yourself, for whatever you deem as importance. You can have that in America versus almost any other country in the world. I don't see it how people see it in America. It's nowhere available, the opportunities that we have here anywhere else. Y'all inform me if I'm incorrect, but let's keep this conversation rolling down below. Shout out to Dinesh D'Souza for just providing value time and time again. And again, I would have liked a more entertaining sort of video, but it provided exactly what it needed to. The title said snaps. Nobody really snapped in that situation. So I guess emotion didn't completely take hold of the girl, but you did see her start to get a little upset. But again, y'all let me know what you think down below. Let's be civil. We can still respect each other's views, whether they're differing or not. That's the beautiful thing about God giving us free will. Everybody's allowed opinions. We got a few of them like elbows. Everybody does. So y'all let me know yours down below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hit that notification bell if you're new so you can stay up to date on all my videos. Share this. Keep spreading Dinesh D'Souza's message and whatever value y'all get from my videos, if any at all. I appreciate you being here no matter what. I love y'all. I'm grateful for the viewership. If you want to support the channel, you can always buy me a coffee. Hit that thanks button. Got a little heart next to it down below. You can join the Patreon family. Best way to request videos, things of that nature if it's not sold out. If you need to get a hold of me, Devin@devgibson.com. Business opportunities, prayer, whatever it may be, my inbox is always open to y'all. I may not respond right away, but I do my best to go through every single message that I ever get. And it may take me a couple days to respond, but I do the best that I can to make sure I do. Outside of that, all my links are in the description. Products I use, brands that support me, always can be found down below. But I'm done ranting at y'all. Hopefully y'all have a blessed day. Till next time, I'm praying for you. Godspeed. I'm gone.